A 3-year-old boy leads police to a hidden grave and accuses a living man of murder. What they dig up shocks an entire village and may prove reincarnation is real. A 3-year-old boy living in the Golan Heights, near the Syria-Israel border, made an extraordinary statement. He claimed he had been murdered in a past life. He described the killing in detail, pointed out the location of his grave, and even identified where the murder weapon had been hidden. When locals excavated the area he indicated, they uncovered a skeleton and an axe just as he had described. This astonishing case was witnessed by Dr. Eli Lash, a well-regarded physician known for his medical work in Gaza. His account was later shared by German author and therapist Trutz Hardow in the book Children Who Have Lived Before, Reincarnation Today. The precision of the boy's recollections brought widespread attention to the case. One day, the boy looked into his parents' eyes and told them he had been murdered not in a dream or a story, but in a previous life. He gave them the name of the man who had killed him and told them where his body had been buried. At first, his parents didn't take him seriously. Children often say strange or imaginative things. But when he led them to an unmarked grave and to the very weapon he claimed had been used to end his life, their disbelief turned into silence. How do you react when a small child shares details of a crime he should know nothing about? When the past seems to speak through someone too young to read or write? The first signs were subtle: a toddler mentioning unfamiliar names, talking about distant places he had never seen, describing events that no child his age should understand. Initially, his family assumed he was just making up stories, like any other child might. But as the stories became more specific and vivid, they began to listen more carefully. He spoke about a different life, with another name, in a different village, and he said he had been murdered. The boy came from the Druze community, which holds a strong belief in reincarnation. Even in a culture open to the idea of past lives, his case was unique. He didn't merely claim to remember a former life. He could explain exactly how he had died. He said he had been killed with an axe, and he named the person who had done it. Unlike vague dreams or symbolic recollections, his memories were clear, consistent, and shockingly detailed. At first, the family and neighbors didn't know what to think. How could a preschooler describe a murder with such precision? Was he simply repeating something he had overheard, or was there a deeper mystery? Still, he would not back down. He was determined to show the truth, leading his family on a journey that would soon uncover something truly chilling. Despite how disturbing his claims were, the boy stood by them. He said he could show exactly where he had died. With a calm certainty, he led his family and eventually a group of curious villagers to a particular location in a nearby village. The scene was surreal, a tiny child confidently walking through unfamiliar terrain, heading straight to a place he insisted he had known in another lifetime. When they arrived, the villagers watched in hushed suspense. The boy wandered through the area, then stopped at a spot he recognized. "This is where I was buried," he said. Many were skeptical until the digging began. Beneath the ground, human remains were discovered. The skeleton of a man who had apparently suffered a violent death. But the boy wasn't finished. He moved a short distance and pointed again. "The weapon is here," he claimed. Once more, they dug. This time, they found an axe, exactly the kind of weapon he had described. The atmosphere shifted. How could a child have known such things unless his memories were real? Even more shocking was the boy's earlier identification of the man he claimed had killed him. That man was still alive and living in the same area. When approached, he initially denied the accusations. But faced with the child's statements, the skeleton, and the weapon, witnesses say he began to break down. According to reports, the man ultimately confessed, unable to withstand the pressure of the revelation. Cases like this raise difficult questions. Can a person truly carry memories from a previous life? Around the world and throughout history, the belief in reincarnation has captivated spiritual traditions. While skeptics dismiss such claims as coincidence, fantasy, or psychological phenomena, some stories like this one are difficult to explain. In scientific research, some professionals have investigated the possibility of past life memories, particularly in children. Dr. Ian Stevenson, a psychiatrist from the University of Virginia, spent decades documenting such cases. He studied over 2,500 reports from across the globe, many involving children between ages 2 and 6, who described past lives with remarkable accuracy. Some even had birthmarks or physical traits corresponding to how they said they had died in a previous life. While critics suggest cultural influence or subconscious invention might explain the claims, certain cases remain stubbornly unexplained. In the Druze community, where reincarnation is a foundational belief, children talking about previous lives is not unusual. Still, this case stood out. The level of detail, the physical evidence, and the alleged confession created an extraordinary chain of events. This wasn't just a vague suggestion of reincarnation. It was a story backed by facts. Skeptics and psychologists propose various theories. Some suggest these memories might be a form of cryptomnesia, unconscious recollection of information the child might have heard and forgotten, then misinterpreted as their own experience. Others think that exceptionally perceptive children could piece together clues and fabricate elaborate stories without realizing it. Yet, even with these possibilities, the question remains: how could a toddler lead adults to a grave and murder weapon that had remained hidden for years? Most children's early years are filled with games, learning, and joyful exploration. But for this young boy, his earliest memories were filled with pain, loss, and trauma. He didn't recall toys or playgrounds. He remembered being killed. For his parents, it was a shocking revelation. At first, they struggled to believe him. But as the evidence mounted, they were forced to face the possibility that something beyond the ordinary was happening. Balancing their beliefs in reincarnation with concern for their child's emotional well-being was a painful task. How do you comfort a child who remembers being murdered? How do you help him separate that past from his present life? His story shook the community as well. Long-time residents were forced to confront forgotten or hidden truths. The accused man's confession shook their sense of security. A crime that had remained buried for years had been revealed not by police or forensic experts, but by a child's memories. As the dust settled, a final question lingered. Would the boy find peace now that the truth had come out? In many reincarnation cases, childhood memories fade as the child grows older, disappearing like dreams. But some emotional wounds may leave permanent marks on the mind or the soul. Some stories demand to be remembered. They challenge the boundaries of what we understand about life, death, and the nature of memory. This boy's experience is more than just a haunting tale. It forces us to examine our assumptions about what's possible. What does it mean to remember a life that isn't your own? Could these memories be fragments of a soul's journey, proof that consciousness stretches beyond a single lifetime? Or do they reveal untapped depths of the human psyche that science hasn't yet explained? For those who believe in reincarnation, this story offers powerful validation. For skeptics, it's a puzzle that can't be easily dismissed. Whatever one believes, the implications are profound. If even one story like this holds truth, then memory may not be limited to the physical brain. It might be something far greater, something that survives death and transcends time. Stories like this remind us how much we still have to learn about ourselves and about the mysteries that lie beyond what we can see. Thanks for watching. If you found this case intriguing, don't forget to subscribe for more mind-blowing mysteries. And why stop here? Click on one of these videos to uncover more chilling stories. See you in the next one.